Danger Dolan. From graveyards haunted by the ghost of a dead girl to popular suicide destinations, we count 50 of the creepiest burial grounds throughout the world.
Number 50.
Huguenot Cemetery is a cemetery located in St. Augustine, Florida, USA. The ghost of Judge John B. Stickney is thought to still reside as a spirit in Huguenot Cemetery.
Number 49.
The Old Jewish Cemetery is located in Prague in the Czech Republic and currently has as many as 100,000 bodies and gravestones of the departed stacked on top of each other.
Number 48.
The Chase Vault in Barbados is well known for moving coffins. According to the legend of the mysterious moving coffins, each time the heavily sealed vault was opened, the coffins were noted to have changed positions.
Number 47.
St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, located in New Orleans, is infamous for the ghost of a voodoo priestess who has been seen on multiple occasions by unrelated parties.
Number 46.
The Valley of the Kings in Cairo, Egypt is one of the most notorious and ancient tombs in the entire history of mankind. Not only do ancient embalmed bodies of the pharaohs reside within the crypt, there are multiple legends talking of curses one contracts from disturbing the tomb.
Number 45.
The Seventh-day Baptist Cemetery is located in Burlington, Connecticut. This cemetery is also known as the Green Lady Cemetery because of a green ghost that haunts the grounds.
Number 44.
Isola di San Michele is an island located off of northern Italy. Back in 1807, it was decided that the entire island would be used as a cemetery.
Number 43.
The Catacomb dei Cappuccini, or the Catacombs of the Capuchins, is a small burial ground located in Palermo, Sicily, in Italy. The walls of the crypt are lined with embalmed bodies that totally aren't creepy in any way whatsoever.
Number 42.
The Highgate Cemetery in London, England has around 170,000 residents crowded into 53,000 graves and is renowned for being one of the world's most haunted graveyards.
Number 41.
The Old Center Cemetery in Andover, New Hampshire is one of the most popular places in America for ghost tours thanks to their resident spirits such as the Waving Woman and Ben Hargrove.
Number 40.
If you like dogs, then the Glasnevin Cemetery located in Dublin is for you. That is, unless you prefer your dogs to be non-ethereal or actually alive when you see them.
Number 39.
There's a graveyard located in a ruined Roman-built city in Turkey that contains the ancient bones of gladiators forced to fight to their death. Nope, definitely no ghosts there.
Number 38.
There's an infamous ghost located on Archer Avenue in Chicago, USA that hitchhikes to Resurrection Cemetery. What's she doing at Archer Avenue? Why does she get out at Resurrection Cemetery? Who knows? Maybe she likes dancing in the ballroom before heading home to 6 feet under the ground.
Number 37.
There's a cemetery in Stool, Kansas that has a lot of rumors about Satanism, including, but not limited to, having a gateway to hell within the Stool Cemetery. So if you want to have a short vacation in hell, Stool is your best bet.
Number 36.
Brookwood Cemetery, or the London Necropolis, is in Surrey, England, and has had many different people claim that they have heard the voices of the dead. Some of them benevolent, some of them not.
Number 35.
Brookwood Cemetery is not to be confused with Rookwood Cemetery in Sydney, Australia. It is the largest resting place in the southern hemisphere with over 600,000 dead bodies under the surface.
Number 34.
Bachelor's Grove Cemetery in Chicago has many different accounts of paranormal activity. Perhaps the creepiest of them all is the two-headed ghost. However, there are far more than just the one perplexing ghost.
Number 33.
Possibly the creepiest of them all, the catacombs in Paris contain thousands of skulls and other bones lined up on the walls underneath the city. And there are over 6 million people buried in there.
Number 32.
Waikumete Cemetery in New Zealand has had multiple people talking about various ghost stories, including one person that frequents the cemetery, God knows why, and has heard banging coming from under the surface.
Number 31.
There's an ossuary, a type of church in the Czech Republic that's decorated with the bones of the departed. Its name is the Sedlec Ossuary if you want to be cursed, but personally I would steer clear.
Number 30.
There are quite a few important historical figures buried under Recoleta Cemetery in Buenos Aires. However, what makes it creepy are the ghosts that haunt the grounds. Rufina Cambaceres, a young girl who was buried alive, and David Aleno, a night watchman who killed himself.
Number 29.
Octun Tunekil Muknal is a cave in Belize near San Ignacio Amaya that has skeletons littered throughout the chambers. The best known skeleton is the Crystal Maiden, the skeleton of a teenage girl that was probably sacrificed. Her bones have been calcified to a crystallized appearance.
Number 28.
The Ganges River, located in India, is a sacred place to those of the Hindu faith. Its waters cleanse a dead body of their sins. Because of this, the waters are a popular place to dispose of dead bodies. This leads to corpses washing up on the shores of the river.
Number 27.
Within the catacombs of Rome, there are bodies of saints of the Jewish and Christian faiths. The catacombs have been given many people cases of intense panic and claustrophobia. There have also been numerous accounts of poltergeist sightings as well.
Number 26.
Stamp's Witches Cemetery in Tennessee is a graveyard that earned its namesake because of the pentagrams on the gravestones. Not only that, but the amount of reports regarding paranormal activity puts other graveyards to shame.
Number 25.
Greyfriars Kirkyard in Scotland is infamous for the Mackenzie poltergeist, who has been known to target the weak, sometimes causing them to faint and collapse from the experience.
Number 24.
There have been multiple sightings and even some photographs taken of the ghost at St. Mary Cemetery, located in Buffalo Grove, Illinois. Of course, the photos themselves aren't all that convincing, but it's still a creepy graveyard through and through.
Number 23.
Have you ever wanted to dine amongst the dead? Well, now you can if you make a short trip to the new Lucky restaurant in India. Inside the restaurants are coffins jutting out from the ground, but they aren't props. Dead people really reside within them. Don't worry, I'm sure you won't get food poisoning or anything like that.
Number 22.
The Howard Street Cemetery in Salem is one of the most infamous graveyards in the world. A man named Giles Corey was accused and killed for practicing witchcraft, and with his dying breath he cursed the town.
Number 21.
The Chapel of Bones is one of the best known landmarks in Évora, Portugal. I suppose you're dying to know why it's called the Chapel of Bones. Well, it's probably because the entire chapel is decorated with the bones of human skeletons.
Number 20.
There's a forest northwest of Mount Fuji that has many signs in Japanese and English urging people to not commit suicide. Why do they have these signs? Probably because it's a popular destination for those that want to end their own life, which is why it's colloquially called the Suicide Forest, also known as Akigahara Forest.
Number 19.
The cemetery in La Noira in Chile is avoided by the locals to the point where they warn tourists against visiting the town because they believe the dead get up and walk at night. Evidence of this can be seen if you brave the cemetery, as most of the graves have been disturbed.
Number 18.
In Mexico, there's an abandoned church near Chamula Cemetery. Inside the graveyard, there's a seemingly random display of grave markers that give the place an eerie feel. To top it all off, there are numerous chicken sacrifices strewed throughout the site. Whether this is a local custom or they're simply there to make it extra creepy is debatable.
Number 17.
The Westminster Presbyterian Church Burial Ground in Baltimore, Maryland is a creepy graveyard so well known for being haunted that paranormal investigators have been known to investigate the grounds.
Number 16.
Unlike most cultures that view death as a thing to be feared above all else, a prominent culture of Sapanta, Romania believes that death is something to look forward to. The Mary Cemetery, located in the same place, is so colourful and cheerful that it goes right back around to creepy, especially for those of us that think death isn't all fun and games.
Number 15.
The suicide cliff in San Roque, Saipan gained notoriety on the internet when a video on YouTube showed a ghost jumping off the cliff. However, that video alone isn't enough for it to gain a place on this list. Back when Saipan was taken by the Americans, hundreds of Japanese civilians and soldiers jumped off of that cliff to avoid capture.
Number 14.
Okunowan Temple at the base of Mount Koya is the largest cemetery in Japan, with over 200,000 people from different centuries resting in the ground below. The assortment of different gravestones as well as the moss covering the stones makes this an uncanny sight and leaves a creepy aftertaste.
Number 13.
The Waverly Cemetery in Sydney is a self-funded graveyard from payments of the living to house the deceased. There are 86,000 inhabitants and around 200 war graves, making it very haunted and also a popular attraction for ghost tours.
Number 12.
Next we have one of the most haunted graveyards in the United States of America, Union Cemetery, located in Easton, Connecticut. The most famous ghost in the grounds is the White Lady, who has been sighted by many people, including police officers and firefighters.
Number 11.
Cemetery Hill is the scene of the Battle of Gettysburg during the American Civil War, where 105 soldiers died in battle. This spot is not only popular for Civil War reenactments, but also for ghost sightings, where people have reported to see ghostly shades haunting the hill.
Number 10.
Boot Hill Cemetery is located in the aptly named town of Tombstone, Arizona. The site is well known for its ghosts, which is probably because those that lie within were often put in the ground because of a violent, untimely, and gruesome death.
Number 9.
Wong Cemetery is a heritage site in Brisbane, Australia, and it has been the discussion of hauntings online quite frequently. Not only that, but its dilapidated appearance and uneven ground makes for a creepy visit if you ever so dare.
Number 8.
Guess what? It's another haunted graveyard. How crazy is that? Here's Ross Bay Cemetery in Canada, and it's super haunted, like really super haunted. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that it's so haunted that it's like full of ghosts and ghouls and stuff. Well, at the very least, the graveyard is considered at maximum capacity of dead people. They won't let anyone else be buried there now. But if you ask me, it's probably because they don't want any more goddamn ghosts.
Number 7.
The Gallipoli Peninsula is where many soldiers went to die in World War I. It's commemorated in Australia and New Zealand on the 25th of April as Anzac Day. It's hard to believe that so many soldiers dying in one spot isn't going to have any ghosts haunting the area.
Number 6.
The Edinburgh Vaults are found under the South Bridge in Edinburgh, Scotland, and they were used by serial killers Burke and Hare for illegal medical experiments that ultimately led to the patient's death.
Number 5.
Yes, famous people need a final resting place too, and the Hollywood Forever Cemetery is home to many of the stars that lived in Los Angeles. Just like famous people need a place to rest, they also sometimes haunt the area around their graves, which is capitalized on by multiple ghost touring groups.
Number 4.
While the Woollyburger Cemetery in Ohio has a somewhat ridiculous name, it is home to some horrid tales. People have seen the ghost of the butcher's daughter wandering alone in the cemetery, as well as hearing the screams of her family at night.
Number 3.
Is there anything scarier than a Nazi? As it happens, yes there is. Lacombe Cemetery in Germany houses 21,000 bodies of Nazis. And you just know that Nazis have no will to come back from the dead and haunt people, because they're totally nice and not at all disturbed or bitter in any way whatsoever.
Number 2.
South Brisbane Cemetery is found in Brisbane, Australia, and it boasts a roster of over 13 different ghosts that haunt its grounds. The place has gathered so much infamy that someone decided to write a book dedicated to just how haunted the place is.
Number 1.
Now here's the creepiest and worst cemetery of them all. This one will leave you crying and begging for the torment to stop before you even enter the grounds. It's so terrifying, in fact, that even speaking its name will haunt you. So all I'm going to do is use a bit of my psychic power and speak directly to you right now. Yes, you, the one watching the video. You know the cemetery closest to your home? It's that one. So you better look out if you ever go by it. You'll probably be hexed for the rest of your life if you don't burn a whole bunch of sage. That's it for this countdown. And have a good one!